always got a really tight schedule?
I'm 64 towns, it's a little tight.
So if you go first, then the other two guys can book point.
Thank you very
Okay?
much. Thank you.
Or yours.
Okay, great. I'm really pleased to be here tonight. My company actually does a lot of business in Plainfield, believe it or not. I'm located in New London, Connecticut, and I own a real estate brokerage company that I started in 2008 when the real estate market was crashing and burning along with the economy. And that was my second business that I started. When I graduated from UConn, I started an advertising and PR firm that I grew to be one of the top 10 in New England. I was hired by over 600 companies, from small businesses to large corporations, to advise them as a business consultant to make them successful and grow their businesses. So I am a business expert. I'm also a real estate and expert. And the other thing that I do is I have a radio show on Sundays. It reaches 3 states, and it reaches the majority of towns in the 2nd Congressional District. Hi. And the real estate show that I have, on a typical Sunday, I have 8,500 people listening to me on their computers. And tens of thousands more on the radios in their homes and in their cars. And over the past 2 years, I have focused on the policies and the laws in Washington, D.C. that have created all of the problems that we're suffering through today. The 2nd Congressional District, Courtney's 4 terms in the 2nd Congressional District have brought us nothing but trailing the entire country in economic growth and the state of Connecticut. So we're at the bottom of the bottom. I know that Plainfield has seen a great drop in values in their housing, because I sell houses in Plainfield, so I do know the market here quite well. What I'd like to do is tell you a little bit about my campaign. State Central came to me about 3 months ago and asked me to run against Courtney, because my name had been thrown out quite a few times by people who listen to my show and know my politics. And I looked at the opportunity and I said, no, this is something that, instead of sitting behind a microphone and trying to educate people about laws like Dodd-Frank and Obamacare and housing and FHFA and the people that are being hired and the policies that are being written, I'd like to go down to Washington, D.C. and make a difference. And so I think I'm very knowledgeable of the policies, probably more than a lot of people. I've read Obamacare, and I can tell you things about Obamacare that aren't even being discussed, that are very scary. And these are policies that tie into things that you would never expect them to tie into. Obamacare ties into the Second Amendment rights that we have, our gun rights. Now, you've heard recently that they're saying that they're going to use the health care in order to say whether or not you have a safe home. And if you have guns in the home, your doctor's going to find out. And Obamacare actually has a whole layer of nonprofits that are funded that will have the right to come into your house and say, gee, are you a good parent? Or do you have guns? You couldn't possibly be a good parent if you have guns. These are policies that are hidden in all these laws. And what's even scarier is that there are entire nonprofit organizations funded by the government that will be running parallel to our government. Right now in Washington, D.C., there is, you've heard of Common Core State Standards? Mm-hmm. Okay. There's an organization called CCSSO. It's a nonprofit organization that will be receiving the data mining from the computers from our state government. Malloy is, right, he's real happy with this. They're going to gather this data. They're going to give it to a nonprofit organization outside of legislative oversight. And that'll have all of our personal information. The IRS has all of our most intimate personal information. Freedom in this country and our liberties are being stripped from us in a way that most people do not even realize. In policy, not necessarily in law. And that is why I would like to go to Washington, D.C. I would like to see Obamacare defunded. I would like to see it repealed. And it can be done. And it must be done. It's not a matter of providing quality health care or affordable health care. These are laws that are written for completely different reasons. And these laws are written to control our lives. And we have to put government in DC back in its place. And that's a big endeavor. Hi.
Hi.
How are you? Okay, I'd like to tell you, I can talk about a lot of different policies, a lot of different law, but there's not a lot of time. And what I would like you to do is go to my website. It's loriforcongress.com. We are working on a different strategy than the other candidates that are in the mix right now. We're working on building the grassroots base, and we're working on the town-to-town forces that are going to be necessary to get the vote out in November. So my intent is to make it through convention with your help and your support. But right now, we're focused beyond convention with our campaign staff. So you're going to see my campaign developing a little bit more each week in terms of spending the money. We're funded through convention. We're the only candidate that is funded through convention. And we're hoping that by convention, you're going to see a campaign put together that is innovative and lean and focused. We're going to hire the best of the best. It can be done this year. And I could have waited until 2016. I was asked, by several people, well, why don't you just wait? Because they got you into this so late in the game. But you know what? I've started 2 businesses from scratch. I've done things that were impossible, especially the real estate market. Starting a real estate agency while the real estate market is in a depression and crashing and burning and the economy is crashing and burning is not what most people would do. I have a very successful company that I run. So I'm hoping to do the same thing in this campaign. I'm hoping to use my business expertise and my knowledge and do things a little bit different because we've lost election after election. It's been too long. We need to win. And I believe in myself, and I hope you believe in me also. And that is my entire presentation for today. I would love to answer any questions you have. If you have a moment, would that be okay? All right. Does anyone have a question? Yes, sir.
How about Courtney? You mentioned, lack of a better word, going after him. Mm-hmm. And, because he's lockstep with the Democrats.
93% of the vote time.
99% of the time he votes with them. Mm-hmm. And this Obamacare thing is a real big one that he voted for. Yeah. And that's where I believe, I'm not telling you what to do, but that's where I believe you gotta go after him big time with Obamacare, because I think Obamacare is gonna destroy this whole country.
And you're absolutely right. 1/6 of our economy, I believe. Obamacare on October 7th, Mr. Courtney walked out onto the House floor and with a straight face said that the Republicans were hysterical because they wanted this bill repealed, this law repealed so badly. And we are so fortunate as a country to have had so many people want to sign up on October 6th that it just completely destroyed the website. His lies are on videotape. You go to YouTube, you can see lie after lie after lie. He's marching lockstep with all of the bad policies. Okay. And it's embarrassing. I would be embarrassed if I were him. Yes.
So I guess my question to you is, when I heard Boehner, when he first got into Congress, how he's gonna throw his weight around, and it was in a way that every conservative would have loved. Even your Tea Party people, he says things have changed, and we're gonna do it by the Constitution. Now look at him now.
Yeah,
you look at him now, but
right.
I'm just saying that's something you're gonna have to watch out for too.
But I am a very strong woman, and I'm lucky to be married to a wonderful man who knows exactly how to handle me, and is walking next to me and helping me. And I'm surrounded by wonderful people who believe in me and want the candidate that will speak clearly with conscience and conviction. And I can't tell you what would happen in Washington, D.C. because I've never done the job before. Mm-hmm. But I can tell you that I believe in term limits. And I think term limits would help solve a lot of the problems we see with the Boehners and all of these folks. So to me, I don't want to go down to Washington, D.C. for a long period of time. I wouldn't want to be there for more than 4 elections, honestly, as Courtney has been. I don't think people are that effective after that much time. They should move on and do something different. But I am willing to do this job, campaigning for 2 elections.
Again, two-part question. Gun rights, are you in favor of gun rights? And are you in favor of pro-life?
Okay, I am speaking at the CCDL rally in Hartford.
Yep.
You know what CCDL is, a Connecticut Citizens Defense League.
Yep.
Scott Wilson is a very big supporter, and they are not going to get their pact together, unfortunately, before the election. But also Scott Ennis, who is the president of the Disabled Americans Firearms, is also a very good friend of mine. I am on the front page of the Niantic Sportsman's Club's website. I'm speaking at the Quaker Hill Rod and Gun. I've spoken at several others. I'm going to be a guest speaker at many of them.
Oh, great.
I'm also, on Sunday, spent about 3 hours in a indoor shooting range with my husband and my 13-year-old son and my 14-year-old daughter.
Yep.
And I have applied for my pistol permit. I had taken the course a year ago, but I haven't received my pistol permit yet. So I hope that answers the question on
Well, that's the
Second
first
Amendment
part of the
rights.
question, what about being
And,
pro-life?
okay, my position on pro-life, I've been on, it really has changed over the years. I have to say that the older I become, the more conservative I become. When I graduated from college, I was a Democrat, and I actually joined the National Association of Women and Organization of Women, and I was this really kind of liberal, la-la land person. And it didn't take long for that to evolve into true conservatism because of seeing what is out there. But in terms of pro-life, I believe that Roe versus Wade was a major, major mistake with the Supreme Court because it did one thing wrong. It never defined when life begins. So we have a really messed up legal system right now. We have women delivering babies at 6 months and they're killing them. I don't know very many people that would accept that. In their heart, in their mind, in their conscience, that is a big problem. So I believe we need to address, that needs to be addressed again in this country because we can't allow babies to be aborted the way they're being aborted. It's just wrong.
You're definitely pro-life. I saw it right then.
And also, have you guys ever seen Body Revealed?
The Egyptian, oh no.
You have, anybody who is pro-life, anybody should see Body Revealed. It was at Foxwoods. It was a Chinese or Oriental company that took bodies and sliced them into pieces so you could see every aspect of a person's body. And they had a room on, and they had a big sign saying, if you are, this room is disturbing. If you cannot handle it emotionally, don't enter through this door. And you walk through that door, and the first thing you saw was a body, and they're all preserved, and the abdomen was cut out, and the infant was still inside. These are real bodies.
Yeah, we saw it.
Wasn't it amazing?
My husband and I saw it, yeah.
And
That's,
and then across the wall, and this is what bothers me the most, across the wall, you saw conception to birth. And they had little fetuses sitting on chairs. And the way they did it was incredible. But you could see at 2 months what a human being looks like. And you could see at 3 months and 4 months and 5 months. And they want us to believe that it's a bunch of cells. Just a bunch of cells that can just be aborted with no conscience.
Well, I'm happy to hear you say that because I feel the moderates are going away from the social values, and I think that's a mistake. I know it's not to make it a one issue, but it's still important for the Republican Party to stand up for social values, to be different from the Democratic Party. That's one of the big,
Right. But if they don't care about a fetus, why are they gonna care about an 86-year-old person that's on their deathbed? They don't, and that's where human life is so sacred, and I can't even say Democrats, I don't even know what they are today. I mean, I'm looking at a
and your
party.
platform is abortion. It's open to.
Trotskyites.
And the Democratic platform.
Thank you so much for all your gracious time and listening. I appreciate